This video is sponsored by Hunter Engineering. Visit hunter.com for more information.
From the Aishan Broadcast Studio, it's What's Treading, brought to you by Hunter Engineering.
Hello and welcome back to What's Treading. My name is David, and on today's episode, we have been seeing a lot of positive news coming from Nokian Tyres over the last few months. And to talk all about it, we are hearing from Wes Boling. He is the Senior Communications and Content Manager at Nokian Tyres. Let's get to the interview. Wes Boling, thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm excited to talk about everything going on at Nokian, especially here domestically at home. When it comes to Nokian's kind of production philosophy here, your strategy is from Tennessee for America. What does that tell us as far as what Nokian knows about the end consumer?
Well, it's a statement of intent, David, I think both for our customers and our drivers. And thanks for having me on to talk about it. As a proud, lifelong Tennessean, it's always gratifying to talk about the growth happening in my home state and what it means for our company throughout North America. For our customers, I think domestic production in Dayton means serving dealers more efficiently and more effectively. It shortens lead times. We don't have to, put in an order to be shipped over the water months in advance for an all-season or all-weather, all-terrain tire. We can reduce that distance and therefore that lead time for our customers. And in some cases, we can ship directly from Dayton. We have a new Finnish goods warehouse that opened last year that we're excited actually to have you guys down to see here, hopefully in the near future, because it is pretty transformational for those efforts to ship domestically. But I think the statement of intent goes far beyond that. It also lets us tailor our product mix to meet the unique needs of North American drivers. We're not making all-season tires for places like Tennessee or North Carolina in Finland anymore. We're making them down the road in Tennessee and for consumers who have different priorities here in North America than they do in a place like Germany or certainly the Nordics. Consumers in the US and Canada care more about durability. They care more about the longevity of a tire. Roads here are unique. Potholes, of course, a big problem. I don't need to tell you or any listener here, but especially in the snowbelt where those freeze-thaw cycles hit, that's a unique problem that is probably worse in places like the US or parts of Canada. And of course, there's also a larger proportion of all-terrain drivers and also light trucks and SUVs. And so we have a unique market. And we realized about 10 years ago, we needed a unique approach to this market, which is why we opened our Dayton factory in 2019 and began producing tires for commercial sale in 2020 there, because customers need that efficiency and drivers need us to have a tailored solution to the challenges they're facing every day.
Well, I can tell you, I have been to your Dayton facility there, and it is a marvel in a lot of different ways. So I would love to see the warehouse as well. I know you're doing a lot there. And what made Dayton a good place to kind of plant roots for Nokian as a whole? I mean, what kind of unexpected benefits have you maybe found from this area of Tennessee?
It's one of my favorite questions, and it's a question that I asked immediately in my job interview process when I began talking about this role back in 2018. What does the Scandinavian inventor of the winter tire have to do with the heart of the Southeast and one of the honestly hottest places in the Sun Belt there in Southeast Tennessee? And I think there are three really good reasons. Number one is workforce. We knew that we wanted to build a factory in the United States, and we needed a place that was going to have a workforce that had ample supply, but also, of course, be high quality in training programs. And there's a rich history of manufacturing excellence in Southeast Tennessee. It's a great hub for railroad, for water as well. It's on the Tennessee River, Dayton is, and so is Chattanooga nearby. And so because of that, there's this legacy. But the problem was that a lot of manufacturers had actually moved out of Dayton specifically. And so you had people who lived in Dayton driving 45 minutes to an hour to work at their manufacturing jobs, and they probably mostly liked those jobs, but they didn't like the drive to them. And so there was a rich availability of workers down the street from our factory that could be part of this community, not just their own community, but this workplace as well, and turn it into a community. More than half of our employees, in fact, a vast majority of our employees in Dayton live within a 20-minute drive of the factory. So workforce was available, and we knew, we needed a highly skilled and highly trainable workforce, and that was available in Southeast Tennessee. Number two, logistics. And I think there's a reason that Southeast Tennessee's become such a manufacturing hub, right? It's a day's drive from nearly half the US population and from the majority of our warehouses in the US and Canada. And so it made a lot of sense logistically. Look, if we want to shorten delivery lead times to our customers, we need to be in a place where that's going to be feasible and easy to do. And then number three is partnerships. The state of Tennessee has been kind of labeled the new tire alley, with apologies to our friends up in Northeast Ohio, where, of course, the industry is still thriving as well. But the state of Tennessee has become experienced in resolving the challenges that are specific to our industry, and local commitment was strong as well. My favorite story was when we were meeting with our finalists up in Chicago in some fancy boardroom with our auditor who was helping audit the finalists for where to locate our factory. And from what I understand, one of the finalists gave a very impressive, buttoned up, polished presentation. And then the Dayton team comes in, and yes, they were polished and they were buttoned up and they were impressive. But toward the end, the local workforce development leader slammed a pair of work boots on the table, and they were dirty. And I think a bunch of mud flaked off onto the table. And he said, "These are my work boots. I don't just do economic development work. I live on a farm, and every day I'm working in these things, and I'm getting dirty for things that I love." He said, "We will go to work for you. We're going to wear our work boots and go to work for you in Southeast Tennessee and be the partner that you need us to be, whatever that means." And we've seen that commitment play out since we located there. We've been extremely warmly welcomed, and now we feel like we're part of the Southeast Tennessee community. And that's enabled us to build a culture that serves as a springboard for success throughout North America.
I really like that story, and I feel like Nokian has done a really good job at giving back to that community as well. The campus itself is beautiful, and has lots of walking paths and just lots of really unique things for, I feel like, the employees there to enjoy and make their lives a little more enjoyable, while they're at work. You spoke a little bit about culture there. What are some of those key points of the culture that you feel like Nokian has been able to build at in that area in particular?
Sure. We think that happy people make great tires, and we understand that yes, every worker needs and wants competitive wages and good benefits, and certainly we offer that in the community. But more than that, I think they also want growth, and they want a place where they feel like they belong. So, a significant number of our shift supervisors now, or production leads, began as production operators and have had the chance to grow and receive training opportunities. And, not only is there an ample array of those workforce development and career development opportunities in Southeast Tennessee, but also we're very eager and willing to connect them with that and subsidize or pay for the cost of that. We have a mentorship program within the factory as well that I think serves dual benefits, right? We have mentors who know what they're doing and have been at the factory several years, who are leading and indoctrinating, I guess, people into our unique way of doing things and our culture. And that gives them leadership opportunities that develops their careers, but also, of course, develops the skills of our new employees. What we know is, and your listeners know this as well, that making tires is unique to other manufacturing operations. And it takes a long time to train somebody. And turnover is expensive when you have to train and retrain and retrain. And so, it's also, of course, in our interest to make sure that employees have a clear path to success and want to stick around and have a place where they feel like they belong. And then there are basic amenities too. We have a lovely green space where employees come in and out each day that reminds them of the beautiful nature of Southeast Tennessee, with maybe a bit of Scandinavian and Finnish touch as well. We have a workout facility. We have a couple saunas on site because we are Finnish, and there's almost as many saunas as there are people in the country of Finland, I'm told. So little things like that too that make people feel like this is a community for them. And then we also, of course, strive to give to the Southeast Tennessee community as well. We sponsor a concert series and scholarships in the local community. We partner with area educational institutions to support their work, and also sustainability as well. So we're looking at developing the recruiting pipeline and being part of that community. And because 70% or more of our workers live within 20 minutes of the factory, they see that investment as an investment, not just in where they live, but in their families as well.
And that is really wonderful.
Presented from the Ishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
As far as your product mix there, I'm sure things have evolved quite a bit since production began, 5 or so years ago. What products are you actually producing at this factory?
Every tire essentially except for winter tires. There are a couple exceptions to that, but for the most part, the all-season tires and all-weather tires and all-terrains that we sell in the United States and Canada are made in the United States. And everything we make in Dayton is exclusively sold in the US and Canada. We're not sending those to any other markets. So some of the leaders, the cornerstone products would be the Nokian Tyres 1 and 1HT, which are all-season passenger and light truck touring tires. The Outpost family is made now in Tennessee as well, so our all-terrain products, and then our all-weather tires as well. So the Liberty WRG5 that we launched, gosh, it's already been a year, hasn't it, since we launched that, more than a year. That's also made in North America. And it follows our company-wide philosophy that like winter is universal. And as the Finnish inventor of the winter tire, our Nokia Finland factory offers specifications that make it the best place for the foreseeable future to make winter tires. But beyond that, we want to make tires close to our markets. And as I mentioned, it of course shortens those production lead times, but also enables us to tailor the product mix to the areas in which we're operating. And it's the same with our new Central European factory in Oradea, Romania. That's our CE hub. The Nordics Nokia serves our Nordic market, that is, in winter tires. And then in Dayton, Tennessee, the leading volume product is probably the Nokian Tyres 1. That's our highest seller in North America. But that whole portfolio, with again one or two small exceptions, is made right there in Dayton.
Wow, I did not realize that it's essentially the entirety of the portfolio there. That's really impressive, and we're seeing a lot of press recently from Nokian, highlighting production records and all these different really extraordinary things that you've been accomplishing here. Is there some kind of secret sauce or some kind of something happening in the air right now that is causing all these good things to be happening here in America?
It's math with a little bit of magic, I guess you could say, if you wanted to get cheesy about it. We do have expanded capacity within our existing footprint. We worked in 2023 and 2024 to install additional machinery within the factory, and some of that was still being phased in last year, which means we're able to have all that together now and setting those records in 2025. And we also have a new warehouse, as I mentioned, that can store hundreds of thousands of tires. That helps us then fill up storage with that new capacity. I think beyond that, records were probably always in the offing this year because of that expanded capacity, but you still can't do that unless your team is also growing as well. And we've made a good number of hires over the past couple of years to grow our team to more than 500 employees at the factory. And then we have that consistent leadership that's empowering employees, training employees, and a great workforce base from which to recruit team members and help them grow. So, it's easy to say you have more infrastructure and more equipment, therefore you should be making more tires, but you can't do that without a great team to make that happen and strong leadership at the factory. And so, the math works in our favor there, but also the ability of our team to continue to grow both in quantity and in quality.
Now, in your role as a senior communications manager with Nokian Tyres, I'm sure that you are constantly trying to look at kind of the big picture. What's the next big thing that Nokian's working on? What can you say to that when it comes to your North American development, your goals here domestically?
So it's the source of the tires, but it's also kind of the proving ground for our story, I think, in North America too. And it's a fun story to be able to tell. I mean, I think that the factory could easily be called the biggest growth driver for our company in North America. And that makes sense when we're making, millions of tires there every year and serving the North American market. It's especially important during the current economic situation. Obviously, a lot of global instability and unpredictability, and some of that here in the US too, which means the closer you can make those tires to your customers, obviously the better you're going to be. And it is the platform as well for new products. And so we're excited to continue to work on additions to our product portfolio in the years ahead. Most recently, the Liberty WRG5 last year made again in Tennessee, a significant addition to that. And so it's key for being able to evaluate and make those new tires and then of course roll them out successfully, pun intended with the rollout term there, to our customers. But I think it's also kind of a spiritual springboard, right? A lot of dealers have told us, and I think your listeners would agree, that the Made in USA story instills significant brand equity. right? But especially with that blend of Finnish legacy and innovation. We might be relatively new to producing tires in this market, but we've been around more than 90 years. We invented the winter tire. We introduced the all-weather tire in this market more than 25 years ago. So we've been around, but I think a lot of people in North America would be forgiven for not knowing that, especially in the Sun Belt where winter tires were not commonly sold. And so the Dayton factory gives us a powerful story to be able to tell that these tires are being produced in the United States. It's a great tire. It offers them what they need from a safety standpoint. It's efficient, it's durable. Oh, and it comes from Tennessee. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can say from experience, speaking with dealers, it makes a difference. It really does. When you're looking at your Dayton site here, 5-10 years down the road, what is going to be that signal to you that maybe more expansion is necessary, or more development in one case or another might be needed to make your plans come to fruition?
It's probably the defining question for us in North America over the next decade or more, because there is space at the factory site to grow. We could triple current production at the current footprint of the factory. We have a beautiful grassy field right next to our factory that is right for that growth if and when we decide that's the right move. There is no large scale expansion plan in place right now, but we're always evaluating the market. And as to the factors that would precipitate that expansion, it's certainly beyond my pay grade, and I think beyond our company's immediate plans right now. It's obviously very safe to say it'll be driven by demand, and we hope and think that our brand, our company, is on a positive path forward toward that goal. Brand Finance named us the fastest growing tire brand in the world this year, and that's certainly encouraging to us. We think a lot of that is driven by the efforts we put forth to grow our brand and grow our business in North America. And we think that the North American market is maybe the biggest business area in terms of growth potential. We're a household name in the Nordics, and we'll continue to grow there, but there's only so much growth path forward there from a pure volume standpoint in those countries. North America offers significant volume growth opportunity. And so our goal right now is probably less to look at the factors that will drive expansion in Dayton and more to look at what we can do in the very near term to grow that brand. And as my rival football coach, who I detested but respected for years at Alabama, Nick Saban, would always say, you just trust the process, right? You look at what you're doing every day and every year and with every new product you introduce. And we are striving right now to grow dealer relationships. We're open to new partnerships with customers in North America who are eager to sell our tires. We've had a very cautious mentality there in protecting existing relationships, and we want to continue to honor those existing relationships while also looking for places where we can grow, because we know that volume growth within our existing customer base has to team up with new customers to be able to expand that demand and get us to that point. So right now we're trusting the process. We're enjoying this growth journey, and we certainly hope that we have the opportunity to expand in Dayton in the decades ahead.
And well, if momentum is any indicator, trusting the process is certainly working for Nokian Tires right now. So it's been a lot of fun over this, especially over the last few years here, seeing the growth, seeing the expansion, seeing all the good news coming out of Tennessee there for you. So very, very happy to talk to you about that, and really looking forward to the years to come. Hope we can catch up again very soon to see where we end up a few years from now. So thanks a lot, Wes. I really appreciate your time here.
Thank you for joining me. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Of course, you too. Take care. All right, great stuff from Wes there. If there is just one word that I can use to describe what's happening at Nokian Tires right now, I think momentum would be that word. I'm just constantly seeing all of the great positive things happening in Tennessee thanks to Nokian Tires. So I am truly excited to see where things go from here. Thank you for joining us, and take care.